and welcome to my channel. This is Baby Mama Homespun and I am so happy to introduce Danielle Gajewski with Potty. She is an amazing mama and she also supports families with elimination communication, which is easy, and helps them get rid of diapers. How awesome is that? Like, I want to get diapers out of my house. Let me tell you, I am so excited to talk to her today. So I'm going to introduce her. Hello, Danielle. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hey there, Baby Mama Homespun and family. Thank you so much for having me today and for the great introduction. So like you said, my name is Danielle and my business is called Potty, and I started up just about almost 5 years ago now. And basically I help parents get their kids out of diapers as early as they want or potentially as late as they want, although I really do advocate for an earlier start. So that's where this elimination communication thing comes in. That's actually infant potty training. So you can start potty training, but it's more like potty learning. It's a slower process, even with babies. Or, you know, you're the adult, you're the parent, you get to make the choices. So you can choose to wait, right? If you're the kind of parent who wants your child to be a little bit more mobile or a little bit more verbal before they start potty training, that's great. I also help parents that want to start, after their child is a year old, with another sort of approach. And then if you want to do more of a traditional potty training, usually starting around age 2.5, I also provide support for that. So I have some books, which actually you can see up here. The pink one is Go Diaper Free. That's basically from 0 to 18 months. And the black one is called the Tiny Potty Training Book. And that one is for 18 months and up. So what do? I help parents. I have a Facebook group where people can ask questions. Also, of course, on Instagram and my Facebook page. I also provide consultations over the phone, sometimes in person. Or Skype or FaceTime or whatever is fine, or even email. So I like to support parents wherever they are in their journey. Typically, people either want my advice for one of two things. One is getting started. So make sure that they have all of the knowledge, all of the tools that they need to get started with EC or potty training. And I do also have classes for that in Edmonton, Alberta, where I live. Or parents contact me when they've run into trouble. So when things aren't going great, and then I help them work through those challenges and create a plan that works for their family and their child, that's really specific to meeting their needs.
And Danielle, what are some of the challenges that you faced while you're running a business and being a mom and basically like being a super mom, right? Like we talked about. And then just supporting other families as they're potty training with this elimination communication potty training method. That can't be easy, right? So I think it's really awesome that you are building a business with raising two kids, like basically you're a super mom. And it's something that we are all wanting to do. And it's very inspiring. So I really want to hear about that, and I know everyone else does too. I just want to know like a little bit about how you got that started, like a little bit of the specifics and background there. I know everyone is kind of be interested in that, so tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, great question. How does one become a potty training coach? That's not always the most straightforward path to get into. But basically, I fell into it completely by accident. When my daughter, who's now 7, I guess I was pregnant with her, and I first heard about elimination communication. So again, our infant potty training, also known as EC. And I thought it was crazy. I thought it was absolutely nuts. And there's so many things that you're already focusing on as a new mom. I wanted to breastfeed, I wanted to use cloth diapers, I wanted to feed her healthy food, and I wanted to, just manage life, and I didn't really know what that was going to entail with a new baby or what kind of baby she was going to be. So, even when I got a little bit more intrigued by EC, it just seemed like too much for a first-time mom. And so I just kind of put it to the wayside until she was about 7 months old. I read a great book called The Diaper Free Baby by Christine Groslow. And that was the first time that I really got the idea that, wow, this was doable. You know, you could do it part-time. It didn't have to control your life. You could still use diapers and do all those normal things. So that's when we started. I basically held her over the sink and she peed in it right away, and I was elated, and she looked really proud of herself even as a 7-month-old baby, and I just kind of fell in love with that process right there. So we continued on that road, and then we eventually did do potty training with her when she was 18 months old. So sometimes EC can kind of wrap up more organically like it did with my son, but with my daughter, we decided to just ditch the diapers in a weekend sort of thing, and well, it took longer than that, which is normal, but yeah, so we just focused on it and got rid of diapers that way. But anyway, when she was just around the time we did potty train, or I guess it was a little before, I had gone back to work part-time outside of the home, and it was good for a while. And then about 2 years into my job, which again was part-time, they decided that we couldn't, they wouldn't give us our set schedule anymore. So for 2 years I worked the exact same hours, the exact same days every week. And then they decided that it was going to be more random for everybody. So that didn't really work for me with childcare and other things. And it became very stressful, and I never really knew, I don't know, it just got really stressful. So as things were getting more stressful there, I heard about the Go Diaper Free coach training program offered by Andrea Olson at Go Diaper Free. And it just really appealed to me. It was like, I don't know if I want to be known as the potty training lady, but it seemed a little strange at the time. But on the other hand, I knew that I really wanted another child someday. And if I didn't use this as a business, or I didn't end up doing anything with it, I felt like at least I could maybe help some of my friends and family if they had trouble. And it would be good knowledge to have for my, you know, if I had another child. So I did the course. It took about 4 months. It's like an online sort of training program. And then when it was over, I was like, yes, let's do this. And I took about 2 or 3 more months to really focus on getting everything ready, you know, business-wise, setting things up. I'd never, ever owned or ran a business before, so I really didn't know what to do or how to advertise, and obviously I didn't have any money. I didn't take out a loan from the bank. I just basically put my daughter in 1 extra day a week of childcare, kept doing my normal job, and just that extra day just like worked on figuring stuff out. And then I just left my job after a few months of that, and started to build my business and my brand. My focus, especially originally, was really locally, trying to do local classes and help with in-person support mostly. But I've really branched out into doing more online. It's just there's so many possibilities, and the reach is so much broader. And of course I really want to have a local presence, but not everybody can come here and see me. So yeah. And then as far as, you know, being a parent, I wouldn't call myself super mom by any means, but having 2 kids and running a business, you know, it's a matter of trying to find some kind of balance. And I think that, I mean, I'm in a really fortunate situation that I have, you know, my husband does mostly support our family with his income. So I haven't really felt a lot of pressure, although I do want to contribute to our family finances. And you know, we still, you know, we are not the kind of people that are going on like yearly holidays and getting out of this terrible winter or anything like that. So it's always good to have a little bit of extra money. And another reason that I really started this business was because I've always had a passion for helping people, but also helping the environment. I am, I guess you could call me like a green person. And I found that this career path really met all of those needs, because I feel like I know that I'm really helping individual people and families with their challenges, but at the same time, every family that I educate about potty training at any age, but especially starting a little bit earlier than usual or earlier than average, are fewer diapers in the landfill. Or even if people are cloth diapering, it's still, fewer resources that are being used for babies. Babies, all children use a tremendous amount of resources just to do child rearing. And so if I can help people minimize that in some way, I feel like it's a good job. Anyway, so yeah, the balance is hard with 2 kids, but what I really love about it is I am my own boss, and I can take it up and I can take it down. So for example, when my son was born, I didn't, go on mat leave or whatever. Here in Canada, it's typical for people to take a year away from work, and they do make a small income from the government, but only if you've paid into that. So because I was already running my own business when he was born, I hadn't paid into that. So after he was born, I wasn't entitled to any compensation of any kind. And it was nice that I could just enjoy my time with him as an infant and not feel the pressure to build the business. Although if I had really wanted to, I definitely could have. So when people asked for my help, I still gave it to them. But at the time, I wasn't like, advertising my business or doing interviews or, publishing a ton of blog posts. I was mostly just maintaining my local Facebook family. And that was pretty much it, unless somebody found me and asked for help, and then I would help them with a consult. And then once he was older, like pretty much after he turned a year, I felt like my energy was coming back, and I felt like I was more ready to be out in the world, and that he could be looked after by other people. So that was when I really started ramping things up again. So it had been going really well, and then when he was born, it kind of went down, and then I'm building it back up again, and we'll just see where that takes us. But that's kind of the freedom to sort of, you can do it any way you want.
And Danielle, what are some of the challenges that you faced while you're running a business and being a mom, and basically like being a super mom, right? Like we talked about, and then just supporting other families as they're potty training with this elimination communication potty training method. That can't be easy, right?
I think that, being a mom is always challenging, looking after or having people that really depend on you emotionally and physically and spiritually and in all the ways all the time. Whether you feel like it or not, that's always a challenge regardless of what you do. So adding in this other component obviously just makes things a little more complicated. For example, if I'm working on a consult with somebody, especially, if people are having trouble getting their kid to poop in the potty, sometimes I will help them with a specific program to help them get over that hump. But as they're going through that process, I offer text support or phone support depending on what they need. So that makes me on call kind of like, 16 hours a day while I'm doing a consult, which isn't all the time. But I could be in the middle of the grocery store and I have to say to my kids or IKEA or whatever and say, hang on, I have to answer this text and look at my phone and go back and forth for a couple of minutes, which, it's got to be annoying for them. And obviously they don't love that. But I try to minimize it, and I'm still working on that balance piece for sure. In terms of supporting families with EC and potty training, I think what's challenging is that, I don't know, actually. Of course, many situations are challenging that people come to me with, but I think the people who seek my support are generally really, really, really conscientious, tuned in parents who, who are also understanding that I'm not a miracle worker or a magician of some kind, right? I can only provide them with really solid advice, a really solid plan. They can implement it 100% perfectly, but these issues or regressions or fears that their child has developed. They didn't develop overnight, and they're not going to be solved overnight, right? So I just love the families I work with. I love them so much, and I'm so proud of them whenever they have a big breakthrough and they really make a big change. Yeah, and I think that they appreciate also just the cheerleading and having someone there that understands and doesn't judge and doesn't criticize. So yeah, there's challenging bits, but mostly I feel very, very lucky.
So, I know everyone's dying to know about your business because we all have to do it. You know, we have to potty train our kids. But it's not really a fun process for us. It's not really something we look forward to doing. Um, we want the end result. We want the diapers out of our house. But the process is not something we really look forward to. So, you know, we want to know. We want to know about this EC. It sounds good, right? Like it's interesting, but it sounds a little crazy. So tell us about this.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Most parents, I wouldn't say all, but most don't look forward to potty training. And I think it's such a shame because first of all, as parents, it doesn't matter what you do, right? You're dealing with pee and poop on a daily basis. Like there's no avoiding it. There's no diaper out there in the world that cleans your kid's bum for you or stops blowouts or whatever, or pee as soon as you open the diaper, right? Like these things happen. And so I think a lot of the time when people learn about EC, that some people start potty training when their babies are like babies, it seems like, oh, so gross, so much work. There's no way that those babies are ready, right? So you just like, it just seems like gross. I think that that's the thing. It seems like a lot of work and it seems really gross. And then the other thing is with potty training, I think that we just hear so many stories, horror stories, right? It's kind of like childbirth. Like very few people go into childbirth really looking forward to it traditionally, right? And then now I think that there's more and more women, books, Instagram, magazines, whatever, that is showing how beautiful it can be and how empowering it can be, right? And I feel the same way about potty training, that I think we need to kind of switch our mentality or our mindset about it, because at the end of the day, it's a huge milestone, right? When we think about teaching our kids to ride a bike, we don't think of it as like, oh, that's something I don't want to do. Ooh, maybe they'll just learn how to ride a bike all on their own and I don't have to do that. Like most people are quite happy to spend a few afternoons with their kid teaching them something like that. Or if we think about babies, learning to use a spoon to feed themselves, or even standing, or, usually kids kind of stand by themselves, but sometimes parents encourage their kids to learn to walk by, helping them stand or walking around with them a little, and they don't feel like it's this big onerous job. It's just like helping and teaching, right? And so that's really where I would love to see the mindset shift with potty training. Okay, so first we'll talk about EC. So what that looks like is basically you just are bonding with your baby, spending time, cuddling time, the kind of time that you're spending anyways as a new mom, watching them, observing them. And basically you're waiting for them to pee. Ideally, they have no diaper on at this point, and you have them like on a waterproof mat, like in a safe space, and you're just kind of waiting. And when you see it happen, you make a sound. You could go pss, pss, pss for pee, or you could make that noise or a grunting noise or something for poop. And that begins to create a sound association that the baby is totally capable of acknowledging. So that in the future, you can say to yourself, oh, their diaper is still dry and they've been wearing it for X amount of time. I think that they probably need to pee. And then when you take off the diaper and hold your baby on a potty, or it could be over a sink, or it could be outside, or wherever you want to do it, or the toilet, you make that sound. So you go pss, 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 and it cues them in their mind to go, oh, that's the pee noise. Also, the way you're holding them over the receptacle, they're recognizing all these things as clues that it's time to pee, and they'll just release it if they've been holding anything. Sometimes there's a strange worry that like, oh, you're training your kids to hold in their pee. Well, they might get a bladder infection, or they might, like, I don't know, become unhealthy with this or something. It isn't that way. Like, they're still just babies, right? Their bladders are still very small. So they will actually actively try to hold it for a little while. But if you wait too long, or you miss their signal, or you are busy and you don't have time to use the potty, like, they'll just go in their diaper. They're not gonna hold it till they're injured themselves. That doesn't happen. Usually the bigger problem is that you're getting too many wet diapers, and then you have to work on offering a little more frequently or whatever. But as far as that being a lot of extra work, it certainly is a bit of a lifestyle and a bit of a mind shift change, but it's also a way to communicate with a baby that you didn't have before. It's a way to know they're crying. Okay, what could it be? I've already fed them. I've already changed them. They just woke up. What could it be? Oh, maybe they had to pee or poop, right? Maybe they're just holding it and they're uncomfortable and they're trying to express this to you, but you're not listening because you don't know to listen. So it can also just be a really helpful tool in your parenting toolbox to have a happier baby. And even with constipation, for example, the way that you're holding your child in a deep squat for EC helps their colon to empty, and their bladder for that matter. And it actually has been proven to reduce the signs of infant colic for quite a bit. So, on the one hand, maybe a little more daily effort, super rewarding, awesome, fun effort, if you ask me. And then also on the other hand, there can be other beneficial reasons to do it, including also reducing or eliminating diaper rash, which is another huge problem for people that are full-time diapering.
So no parent wants to feel like they're alone in this whole process. Tell me what the main frustrations or concerns that parents have when they come to you with this whole potty training thing. We're all really interested.
And then, yeah, in regards to potty training, I would love to see a mindset shift. And I think that a lot of that comes with education. So, the trend over the last 60 years, basically since disposable diapers came on the market, because they were brand new 60 years ago. Before then, everybody did cloth in combination with some form of infant pottying. It wasn't unusual or strange back then. And when the disposable diapers came on the market, there was really this call, well, obviously it benefits them a lot if you keep your children in diapers longer, right? The more diapers you have to buy, the more money the diaper companies make. And so they are really the force behind the idea of wait till they're ready, which is what everybody repeats now. Oh, we tried potty training when our son was 2, but he just wasn't ready. So he potty trained himself when he was 4, or whatever. And I'm not going to judge anybody for choosing that approach. That's totally fine with me. But in my classes, I really emphasize education about how just because potty training doesn't happen overnight doesn't mean that they're not ready. And there's a lot of learning involved, and some kids take to it really quickly and some take a little bit longer. But on average, it's about 7 to 10 days of like commitment until most kids are on board. Still having accidents sometimes, that's only natural, but are basically potty trained and still needing some support. So I think at the end of my classes, my favorite thing that I hear parents say, and these are potty training classes, right, for 18 months and older, I love when they say, I actually feel excited about this. Like, I came in here dreading it and now I actually feel excited. And then sometimes during the process, people will email me and say like, oh my God, I had no idea I would feel so proud of my child. And it's just like, oh, I love
it. Okay, so now we want to know, like, how are you able to help these parents overcome their fears and frustrations? What kind of classes, blogs, whatever you offer, we want to know. I'm going to put her Instagram on the screen. Go follow. She's going to tell you all the other places to go.
All right, I have a lot to say about that too. So there's a lot of different places that you can go. So like I said, I'm located in Alberta, Canada. So I teach classes here in Edmonton, and I also do phone and sometimes in-person consultations here. Phone ones, of course, can happen anywhere in the world. So if you do have trouble and you want to contact me anywhere in the world, that's absolutely fine over the phone. The way that I help parents, so through the classes, through the consultations, through my Facebook group. So my Facebook group is kind of, I like to limit it to a smaller area. But there are options. So I am a Go Diaper Free certified coach. And if you are to visit the website godiaperfree.com under the resources section, then you can go down to, I think it's called coaches and groups in your area or something. And there's a map, like an interactive kind of Google map of the world. And you can see where all the Go Diaper Free certified coaches, active coaches are in the world, and find somebody close to you. So they don't all do potty training. A lot of them are more focused on elimination communication. But if that's your bag, perfect. If not, if you want to do the potty training one, you could try to find a potty training coach closer to you, or you could even send me a message, and I could. We have a coach group that we can, I can try to locate people on there for you. Then also these books that I mentioned before. Why don't I just grab them down here? This one is the one for potty training, and if you were to purchase this book from Go Diaper Free, it also has a Facebook group that comes with your book purchase, that is just for people that purchase this book, and myself and other coaches that are certified pop on there and answer people's questions as they go, or other people who have done the same method and use the same book are on there too. If you were interested in getting this book, I do have a coupon code for it. You just put it in at checkout and you will get 15% off your purchase. So it's Potty Time 15, like POTTYTIME 15. The book is also, it's not only like a how-to, but it's also got a big troubleshooting section at the back that you can reference if anything comes up. And if you're not finding your answers there, then you can go on the book's support group, or you can find a coach in your area and get help that way. Or you can, of course, book a consult with me. My website is www.wepotty.ca. And so all of under the help section, all of my consultation packages are there. I also I'm on Pinterest. So if you want to look up We Potty on Pinterest, I try to pin, I have all kinds of things I try to limit it mostly to like babies and toddler stuff. But I have things about food, about cloth diapering, about breastfeeding, about childbirth, about parenting, about games and crafts and activities, all sorts of things. But then I also have specific boards about potty training where I pin my own content from my blog, but I also pin content from other people's, blogs and books and things that I know is good information, because you really want to make sure you're getting the good information. There's a lot of information there about potty training that I don't think is helpful or supportive, or just as an example, like a lot of moms will blog about their personal experience potty training using bribes, for example, like Suckers or Smarties or M&Ms or whatever, and it worked for them, right? So they're saying like, this is the best thing to do these M&Ms for peas and Suckers for poos, and it's going to be great. But like in 95% of the cases, it's not going to be great. Rewards typically, actually, even if the child is excited about them, that excitement wanes quickly. And then usually they start trying to just get more rewards. So they kind of start tricking their parents into, maybe they just pee a little bit, and then 5 minutes later they come back and they pee some more to get more Smarties, and then they hold a little more and then they pee some more, right? And it becomes like a huge power struggle, and it's not helpful at all. So just as an example of information that is not going to work for most people, but of course when it works for some people, they put that online, and then lots of people try it, and then it doesn't really pan out. So making sure you're getting good information. My Pinterest, I always put good information, as well as in my Instagram stories, in my Facebook page, We Potty on Facebook. I also link up to, again, my own, when I have new content on the blog, or other people's content that I think is really worth reading and considering. I'll put it on there, and you can help yourself to all of that.
What about that mom who thinks like, my kid's too old now, I screwed it up, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's too late for me. I can't get my child out of diapers. She's not going to be able to go to school. What was the one piece of advice you would tell this mom?
So, of course, nobody's ever too old for potty training, right? I mean, you might be like looking back now and thinking, man, I wish I'd had this information sooner. I would have done it a different way, but you didn't. And right, like everything with parenting, I can't tell you how many things I would have done differently if I'd had different information at the time. So, these things happen. But I would say the most important thing, even if you've been trying potty training, you've been doing it for a while, you're really struggling, you feel like you said, your child is never, is going to go to kindergarten still wearing diapers. And by the way, that does happen. It's never too late. But there's two things you need to do. And the first thing is to stop trying to potty train. I'm not even kidding you. Because the other thing is you need to have a really solid plan. And you need to, there's no going back. Like the next time you do it needs to be the last time you do it. And I think a lot of people kind of go into potty training with the mindset of like, well, we'll try it this weekend and see how it goes. And then that mindset is like setting yourself up for failure already before you've even dove in. So having a really solid plan and also being in your mind like, this is it. Like we're not going back. When you approach potty training that way and you feel confident and you feel ready, like as a parent, your child will feel that change in your mentality and are much more likely to succeed and to go along with it. That doesn't mean that they're not going to resist, especially when they're older, especially when they're 3 or 4 and they've been using this diaper that they've been wearing as a toilet for all of these years. You can see why they would be resistant to change, right? Lots of us don't like change, and this is a pretty big one when you've really become accustomed to something. So get a plan. And again, the Tiny Potty Training book is really the one that I recommend. It has everything that you need to approach it there. I've also read Oh Crap Potty Training, and it's quite a similar approach. So that would be another book that I would say would be a good plan. And then get on some of those support groups or find a coach in your area and have somebody that you can call or email and just be like, that can help you through this process so that you can stay calm. Because mom and dad, you need to be calm and you need to be loving and you need to be understanding and you need to be, if you feel anxious, your child will feel anxious, and that's where this negative snowball usually happens. So that's why I say, if it's going terribly wrong, if you feel like you've been potty training for 6 months and it's not happening and everybody's frustrated and everybody's crying about it and screaming about it, you need to stop, go back to diapers, and reset, okay?
Danielle, I am so grateful that you took the time today to talk with me, to share this information with us, and I know everyone else is really excited to check it out. So tell us again where we can go, sign up, get all the updates that we need so we can be diaper free. And I will put that information up on the screen, but just tell us again so we can hear it. We are so excited. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I am so excited for you guys too, and thank you so much again for having me. It's been great talking to you, and I hope that I just want to wish everybody out there the best possible journey in going diaper free that they can possibly have at whatever age, whatever stage their child is in. As far as getting a hold of me, I do have a newsletter. I try to send out emails usually about once a month, rarely more often than that. So you can sign up for my newsletter on my website at wepotty.ca, and then you just go to the contact section and then click on the link to subscribe to my newsletter. You can also find me on Pinterest, where, like I said, I'll be pinning stuff, my own content, as well as other good potty training information. And then Facebook is another great place. So We Potty on Facebook. I have my own page, and as well as Instagram. You can find me there. Instagram is kind of fun if you. Yeah, I definitely post a few times a week, and I also, in my stories, again, I'm putting some of that good information for you guys so that I can just, I don't know, meet you where you're at, right? Sometimes something will come across your feed and you're like, oh, that's exactly what I needed. So I hope that you find some of that there. Thank you so much for watching this whole interview. It's been great. Thanks.